Toxic situations, toxic people, parasitic relationships. That's what we're going to talk about. People who experience group harassment have usually been scapegoats even from childhood. It's a group dynamic and they feel an important part in the group. I don't think I've ever seen a group that didn't have a scapegoat in one form or another. And these people will feed off targeted individuals. They will, get together. They will bond over this type of activity, and they will vent on the scapegoat that they have chosen in the group that they're in. And a lot of times, targeted individuals, they started to play that role even, like I said, from childhood. Family structures, they have that. You've heard of the golden child and the black sheep and all that stuff. That has to do with people, of your own blood, flesh and blood. It's not supposed to be that way, but it is. So you can imagine how frequently this plays out in society that doesn't involve people who should love each other because they are related. And that's just the way it is. People have a lot of frustration and the kingdom of darkness sees to that. And the targeted individual, well, they've got a target painted right on their back. Believe it or not, people who are chosen for group harassment usually aren't frail. They're usually chosen because of their strengths, their attitude of nonconformity, their independent thinking makes them a challenge, a threat. To the alpha personality, people who want to control the group, people who want to be the top dog. And they rely on those social dynamics to control the social situation, to control the group. But there's a principle that comes into play that a lot of people just don't like. And that is, if you're going to be the head cheese, if you're going to be the top dog, you have to be the servant of all. And those are the words of Christ. So when you get somebody with the alpha complex, when you got somebody who wants to be preeminent, there's usually a lot of Dunning-Kruger syndrome involved in that. And, they can just be kind of primitive. And they end up being, more often than not, narcissists, psychopath type personalities. They're heartless, and they'll do anything to be preeminent and control the group. And targeted individuals play that important role of the scapegoat because they provide the glue for everybody to come together, and they will be demonstrated on. They are the people that are the vessels of wrath for these preeminent individuals, and they will instill fear in the rest of the crowd by punishing them with their wrath. A lot of targeted individuals fear for their life, and rightly so. I think, though, that if you're a new targeted individual, that, if you're getting those type of threats, they're more geared towards fear. A lot of the targets that have been around a long time, well, they can be targeted for that. Their life is literally in danger because if they've been around playing this little game for quite a while, they've probably figured out quite a bit. And they probably know a lot of the people who are involved in their little ordeal. And if they haven't been put away yet, they haven't been declared mentally insane, if they have not, succumbed to the pressure, well, they're more of a liability. And I've seen people out there with a little bit of evidence. I've got quite a bit. I've got pictures, recordings. And I think at that point you do become dangerous to them. And that's when it can get ugly. They have to keep you around because they want to play with you, though. But, like I said, if it's not working, well, that's a different story. Targeted individuals get break-ins and all that. If they really wanted to put something nasty in your food or something like that, you probably would have, you would have kicked the bucket a long time ago. The parasitical nature of these people means they have to have their fingers in all your business. And that means, yep, they're going to hack your phone. Is there such a thing as a victim of group harassment who doesn't have their phone hacked? I doubt it. Because we take them wherever we go. We're connected to everything through our phones. I rarely, watch TV anymore. In fact, I haven't for years, but I'm constantly on my phone watching videos, studying, whatever. People do their online banking. They are making plans, their social circle, all their connections, everything is in their phone. And it's really annoying. I've had to go through several. And I got to the point where I just don't care. I don't really have anything to hide, in my opinion. I don't do online banking. And if somebody's going to be, spying on me through the phone, watching where I go, well, after the first 24 hours, it's going to just repeat. It's like the instructions on a bottle of shampoo: lather, rinse, repeat. That's my life. They're going to get awful bored. But it's a reality. Targeted individuals deal with the technology out there. They deal with a lot of malware. They deal with all kinds of things. I've mentioned Havana syndrome, and it's become an issue. I ran into a buddy the other day, and he works in the POP sites. If you guys don't know what that is, those are the telecommunication centers where they have all the switches and all the bays that break down and reboot the fiber optic systems. They have the lines that go, maybe from Denver up into Montana and over to California. And they got all those big POP sites. I've worked in a few of them. Some of them are huge. But he does that work. And he's also a victim of COVID. And he's also got, the 2-part jab. And he said that after he got sick with COVID, he started having some strange symptoms. And they sounded a lot like Havana syndrome. I don't know. But he works in those sites. I don't know if there's a connection. He said he's getting vertigo and all kinds of other sensations. He's just feeling like he's going to faint. He might be driving down the highway, and all of a sudden he just feels like that. And, he also, like I said, took the 2-part jab, and he got COVID again. Yeah. So, he's pretty disappointed in that, but he had to keep his job. There's a lot of things out there that are kind of scary. I heard that China has told its citizens to stock up on supplies and food for the winter. That sounds pretty suspicious. I don't know. I don't even know what to think of that. That's pretty scary. That's pretty much the industrial hub of the world now. And, most of our, manufacturing has gone, it's gone offshore. It's gone over there. And if we got cut off, if they decided to, close a bunch of things over there and slow everything down, which is already happening, I don't know if we've got it in us anymore to turn this place into the Industrial Revolution all over again. It's pretty scary to think about. Makes you want to go get some toilet paper. So what do you do about these parasitic individuals that are harassing you? Well, what happens when you go to the zoo, you always see the sign that says, "Don't feed the animals." If they're not getting what they want from you, well, they're going to have to go somewhere else to get it. You definitely want to limit your reactions to them, and, awareness, well, it plays a big part, because a lot of people get gaslighted. They get involved in those relationships. Codependency can be a factor. Targeted individuals are very vulnerable because they're isolated. And sometimes, even hanging around with bad company is better than no company. Happens to everybody. But, you're going to have to be aware. You're going to have to be privy to their little methods. And a lot of people don't know they're being gaslighted. A lot of people really start to internalize all the things that come at them. And these people can be very clever. And they can get you to that point where you need them and you see yourself as the problem, and it's just a lie. These things are done incrementally. People are, deceived and gaslighted. at a lot of different levels. And, when it becomes part of their identity, that's when it becomes dangerous. And you got to step back. You have to know, who you really are, how you're being manipulated. And if these people don't get what they want, they're probably going to go the other way. Going no contact with them can be dangerous, but sometimes it's necessary, and you want to do it in an intelligent way rather than to kind of stick up for yourself and be aggressive. Well, you might want to just kind of subtly just get them out of your life. Challenging a lot of the signals and messages that are coming at you is also crucial because a lot of the propositions, a lot of the theories that targeted individuals have come to are incorrect, and they're being manipulated, and that happens in relationships as well. Like I said, if you're internalizing these things, if you're taking the accusations, and based on the gaslighting, you might be dysfunctional because of the harassment that you're experiencing, and you can start to buy into that. And you need to challenge that. If people really care about you, they are not going to be accusing you all the time. That's one of the first red flags. You got to be aware of that. Constructive criticism is one thing, but if somebody is always picking at you, if they are accusing you all the time, if they are blaming you for the way their life is or the way they feel all the time, and they're not willing to take any responsibility or be reasonable, well, you got to know at that point that you're being barbecued. You're being gaslighted, and you got to get away from that. And, using syllogistic reasoning is not going to work. And they depend on that. They want you to look at your circumstances. They want you to look at the results of all these things that are coming at you in light of the lateral comparisons that people normally make when they compare themselves to other people. And they do it the wrong way, by the way. And then you're going to come to that false conclusion. And also, if you're being sensitized to different things, if you're being harassed, in multiple locations by multiple groups of people, the whole situation relies on that syllogism, those straw men that people create. And they become sensitized to colors and all those things. And those things are not happening to you. They are. But the methodology behind sensitization is to get you to be obsessed with certain things, to come to conclusions that aren't accurate, to read into all kinds of different situations. And, even if you find yourself doing that, it's okay. It's perfectly normal for people who experience trauma to be irrational. You got to get over that. It happens to everybody. It happens to me. A lot of the fears and a lot of the obsessions that people have when they're targeted, well, they come out of that. And if these people around you are gaslighting you, if they are involved in your harassment, they're going to try and use that against you. They're going to take full advantage of that. And they're going to get you into situations. They're going to point the finger at you and say you're irrational, that you're paranoid, that you're crazy or whatever, or, that they're just trying to help. But they're going to make light of it, and they're going to use it in a way that's manipulative, hurtful. And as far as I'm concerned, it's just a red flag for you to know that you need to get away from them. But they're going to use that, and they're going to try and push you in those ways, and you have to know that they're gaslighting you. Guys, be good to yourselves. Be safe.